All right, I'm having a heck of a time copying and pasting these graphs into the document, so I'm just going to do a quick screencast. And the this is a graph of the lactate and the heart rate of this test subject. And you can see here that the lactate at about 9.9, we have this pretty sharp increase right here. So that's really showing me where that lactate threshold is. I wouldn't really use this highest one at 188 for a number of reasons, but I think right below that highest point, 178 right here is where I'd probably call the lactate threshold just based on lactate alone. All right, here's the graph for heart rate and respiratory exchange ratio, and we can see here that right around 1 is probably a little bit higher than that lactate threshold when we're using full carbohydrate. So because this level 1.01 here is at heart rate of 185, I would say that lactate threshold is somewhere closer into this 178 range again, maybe 180. So that's what I would say for this. All right, now I have the heart rate and the ventilation rate in liters per minute. And we see here that ventilation is increasing. This is actually some pretty clean data as the heart rate increases. And I would say that somewhere around here, where once again that we're not quite to the over 100 liters per minute, but we are down here in this range, like kind of just below that maximum. And so once again, that falls at about 178. So that's 3 pieces of data here that have said about 178. So that's what we're going with so far. When we look at the true O2 versus heart rate, or as a function of heart rate, though, we see that there's actually this pretty steady steady state, I suppose, here at the very end, up near the lactate threshold. So I wouldn't. So I think anywhere I would kind of take an average here between that 188 and maybe the 170, where this is more of a flat line from 2.9 true O2 to 2.6. So I would take that average, and that once again that falls really just under the 180 beats per minute range. So to conclude, I would say that, let me just go back up here to the actual data table. To conclude, I would say that the lactate threshold, I've been saying 178, but is maybe a little bit closer to 180, just because we also have the RPE here, so that's usually between 14, 16, but I think that somewhere in between this 15 to 17 range, but closer to the 15 range is probably where that lactate threshold is. So final guess, 178 to 180 for what that lactate threshold heart rate is.